Hi, James. Can you hear me?
I can, Heather. Yes. Hello.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so I'm sitting in this on this glorious Brighton and Hove beach, as you can see. I wish I was, but I'm not. Today is very, very warm, is it not? But we're also going to be talking about some hot topics when it comes to landlords and regulations. So I thought I would kick off with the latest story where the Court of Appeal backs a landlord in key gas safety section 21 eviction case. Now, have you heard of this case at all, James?
Yes, yeah, we've been closely following it because it does have a big impact on how landlords, process their tenancies. Yeah, it's very important.
Exactly. And I know from your compliance, being the compliance guru in
Mm,
our business, that you follow all this very, very carefully, particularly when gas safeties are involved. So I
mm.
just wanted to let our landlords know, thanks for joining James and myself this afternoon. You're in the company of James Duffy and Heather Hilda Darling from Callaway's. I just wanted to bring you up to speed with the result of the Court of Appeal case. It is fascinating, actually.
Yeah.
So the background of this is that the tenant, a lady called Patricia Rounsfield, tried to assert that the landlord hadn't served the gas safety certificate in accordance with um, the Section 21 requirements. As we know, James, every single landlord, we ask, have they got a gas safety certificate before they decide to rent out a property, plus other documentation, which I'll go through at the end.
That's right. Yeah.
The point is her landlord, Trecarroll House Limited, and I hope I've pronounced that properly, argued that they had served a gas safety certificate. Now, this goes back a couple of years, and it just shows how long sometimes litigation can take. Patricia Rounsfield moved into her property in February 2017. In fact, the landlord had had a gas safety record done in the January 2017, but didn't serve it to the tenant until November. The following year, in May 2018, the landlord gave notice, served a Section 21 on the tenant, and her argument was that she hadn't been served a gas safety record. Now, we know that gas safety, tenant safety, health and safety is ultra, ultra important with landlords, but it's also important from a legislative point of view, because I know we've had many conversations ourselves in the office about this particular legislation. And what we're talking about are the Gas Safety Installation and Use Regulations 1998 and Section 21 of the Housing Act 2004. So what happened was the tenant argued that the failure to carry out a safety check within 12 months of a previous check, because I can't see any I can't see any notice that they had served or provided a new gas safety in the January 2018. So it's really important that we identify what the problems are here. In actual fact, the Court of Appeal ruled on behalf of the landlord. And what they said is, it was just a sort of a procedural hiccup, rather than something that, yes, we know it should happen. That's what we like to serve in advance. So the fact is what landlords should be doing, and we would hand on heart say this is the way to do it every single time. Just comply with the requirements right from the start of the tenancy, and then there should be no room for argument. So what are those rules? Provide the gas safety certificate together with the EPC and the how to rent booklet. Give them to the tenant prior to them taking up occupation at the property. The other important thing, and I know we do this religiously, is make a note of when we send documents out. It's very simple. If you serve it by email, you've got tracking of when the email was sent. But landlords, if you're managing your own property, maybe you're not making a note of that, when you're sending the documents out. We suggest you do that. Toot sweet. Carry out the annual gas safety check on time each year. I know, James, that you have suggested from the legislation that it can be done 2 months prior to, but we're not going to go into that today because that's not what we're looking at. Also, landlords should be keeping copies of each annual gas safety certificate. And they need to record when they were carried out and also provide them to the tenant. There's a top copy and there's a pink copy. It's very easy to provide the tenant with a pink copy, attach it to an email, send it out, or put it in the old-fashioned, slow mail with a date of when it was posted, and you shouldn't go wrong. So bearing in mind that, this again, we're not sure whether the tenant is going to appeal again, but for the moment, this is what the legislation looks as though can happen. And I just, I would say stick to the rules, make sure that you serve the gas safety record before the tenancy starts, and hopefully things won't go wrong. So this started in 2017, we're now 2020, and there's not necessarily an end in sight. No. Did you want to add anything to that, James?
No, I think I just echo what you're saying there. I think it's very important that people don't fall into a different way of working where this is concerned for landlords, because, gas safety certificates are incredibly important to ensure that the property is, safe. And I know that I won't be changing how we operate or how I advise our clients. We will be saying that the gas safety needs to be served to the tenant before the tenancy commences, or as they're just moving in, not once they've moved in or retrospectively, because if someone did challenge this later on, you're leaving yourself open for unnecessary questions when you might as well just do that as your process when you move in. So it is an interesting decision, and as you say, a lot of landlords and professionals have been watching it closely, because if it had gone, if the decision had gone the other way, it would have been, it would have quite an impact on the landlord's ability to get possession of the property. So I would agree that landlords need to ensure it's served before the tenant moves in, or just as they've moved in, not once they've moved in. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, James. I'm going to say cheerio from my lovely beach setting.
Yes, looks lovely. Looks lovely. You enjoy that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks then.
Speak to you all soon. Bye.
Bye. Bye.